Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Conor McGregor. Now the reason why we're going to be talking about him, well, he's been in the news, but the reason I got interested in all of this because I don't necessarily cover fighters and all of that world, though this is very much in my lane because of what we're going to talk about. But initially, the reason why I became interested in all of this was because I saw the news pop up on Twitter, but it came with this picture. I find this picture very heartbreaking to look at. Now, granted, I don't want to project any of my own shit onto the picture. She looks devastated, and I was like, okay, what happened here? Now, in here, we're going to be referencing multiple articles. They'll all be linked down below. I will also be linking an article that is a timeline of Conor McGregor's controversies, arrests, and illegal troubles, and I'll explain why, but that'll be linked as well. MMA fighter Conor McGregor must pay $250,000 to a woman who says he raped her. Civil jury in Ireland finds. A woman who claimed mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor, quote, brutally raped and battered her in a Dublin hotel penthouse was awarded nearly $257,000 on Friday by a civil court jury in Ireland. The woman said the December 9th, 2018 assault after a night of partying left her heavily bruised and suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. McGregor shook his head as the jury of 8 women and 4 men returned the verdict after deliberating for about 6 hours in the High Court in Dublin. He was mobbed by cameras as he left court but did not comment. So that picture obviously happened while he was leaving court. In a statement shared on X after the ruling, McGregor said he would be appealing the decision. He wrote, "The judge's instruction and the modest award given was for assault, not for aggravated or exemplary damages. I'm disappointed that the jury did not hear all the evidence that the DPP reviewed." He wrote, "I'm with my family now, focused on my future. Thank you to all my support worldwide." McGregor testified that he never forced her to do anything and that the woman had fabricated her allegations after the two had consensual sex. Hand's lawyer said she never pretended to be a saint and had gone out looking for a good time that ended up turning into a nightmare. Attorney John Gordon said McGregor was angry about a fight he had lost in Las Vegas 2 months earlier and took it out on his client. "He's not a man, he's a coward," Gordon told jurors. "A devious coward, and you should treat him for what he is." Now, let me be very clear about one thing that automatically pissed me off reading this. As a general notion, when these cases occur, I can understand bringing up someone's history like I did earlier on, mentioning the article where there's a timeline of Conor McGregor's messy behaviors. And let's just call them messy because there's such a variety of different types of fuckery there. But really fucked up behavior. Bringing up a pattern of consistently fucked up behavior, especially violent behavior, is a very different thing than bringing up the fact that Hand wasn't a saint, which already pisses me off because even if you are a fucked up person, you don't deserve to get raped. In the same way, I don't think you need to prove that you're a saint to prove that you didn't do anything wrong to make you innocent of anything when you do allegedly get raped. You know what I mean? So if she got drunk, if she was being a bitch, if she was screaming, whatever the case may be, there is no excuse for a rape. So bringing up that she's not a saint, I hate that shit. It's irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant to the subject matter here. So McGregor put her in a chokehold several times and later told her, "Now you know how I felt in the octagon where I tapped out 3 times, referring to an Ultimate Fighting Championship when he had to admit defeat," she said. Now, if that did in fact occur, this is not someone who's well. You don't meet some woman at a bar and, decide to hook up and then just drop this weird shit on her, let alone put her in a chokehold, which I think we all agree on. But no well-adjusted human is going to tell some rando they just met, now you feel how I felt when I was losing this thing that I consented to participate in out of my own will and volition. That is not a sane thing to say to anyone. She feared she would die and never see her daughter again. "He let me go and I remember saying I was sorry as I felt I did something wrong and I wanted to reassure him that I wouldn't tell anyone so he wouldn't hurt me again," she said. She said she then let him do what he wanted and he had sex with her. Police investigated the woman's complaint, but prosecutors declined to bring charges, saying there was insufficient evidence and a conviction was unlikely. McGregor said the two had sex that was athletic and vigorous, but not rough. He said she never said no or stopped and testified that everything she said was a lie. "It is a full-blown lie among many lies," he said when asked about the chokehold allegation. "How could anyone believe that me, as a prideful person, would highlight my shortcomings?" Ugh, there's so much to unpack here. So, first of all, Obviously, if you put someone in a chokehold, I don't really think any behavior they have after that is going to be their natural behavior because, oh, well, you kind of threatened their life. So honestly, if someone put me in a chokehold, I would probably do anything to make them think I was chill and fine and totally normal, when obviously in reality, you're freaking out. I don't think that's very difficult math to do, even for McGregor. If you put someone in a position where they think their life is in danger, they're probably gonna go with whatever the fuck you come up with, realistically. That doesn't mean there's gonna be consent. It could mean, perhaps, that if all of this that is alleged happened, she was probably afraid to say no, considering you allegedly put her in a chokehold. So obviously she's not gonna say no, because if you put her in a chokehold just randomly for the kicks, what the fuck are you gonna do when she says no? Basic survival instinct, in my opinion. McGregor's lawyer told jurors they had to set aside their animus towards the fighter. You may have an active dislike of him, some of you may even loathe him, there is no point pretending that the situation might be otherwise, attorney Remy Farrell said. I'm not asking you to invite him to Sunday brunch. The defense said the woman never told investigators McGregor threatened her life. They also showed surveillance video in court that they said appeared to show the woman kiss McGregor's arm and hug him after they left the hotel room. Farrell said she looked happy, happy, happy. A couple of things. So first of all, in my limited knowledge, I know that McGregor is not particularly liked. Now, will that drive some people to believe any horrible thing that's said about him, including calling him a rapist? Yes, some people will go for that. However, I do not think the population at large can really be told that, oh yeah, you just don't like this guy, so you're automatically gonna believe he's a rapist. Because I don't particularly like him based on the things I've seen in passing on social media, right? Will I jump to believe that he's a rapist because of that? No. I think most well-adjusted people won't jump to that conclusion. They might see it as possible, seeing his track record, which again, is relevant, but that doesn't mean that everyone's just gonna be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, case closed, we're not gonna look into it. So I think it's already ridiculous to posit him as a victim of like, you're not gonna believe him because you don't like him. Like, okay, let's calm down on that. That doesn't seem particularly realistic to me. Also, the fact about her kissing him and being nice to him after the encounter, she said it herself. She felt like she'd done something wrong and she was also, I don't know, fucking scared for her life. Are you gonna try and piss off someone who put you in a chokehold allegedly? Are you going to be mean to them and be like, hey, what you did was fucked up, knowing they could bash your head in? No. Honestly, I probably would have done something similar and then gone to the cops or whatever when I was safe. But in that moment, you have no one there to help you. Maybe no one even knows where you are. Are you really going to confront someone then and there? That doesn't really make sense to me. McGregor said that when he was first questioned by police, he read them a prepared statement. On the advice of his lawyer, he refused to answer more than 100 follow-ups. McGregor has faced previous sexual assault allegations in the United States. In October 2023, the state attorney's office in Miami said it would not pursue criminal charges against McGregor after a woman accused him of attempting to force her to perform oral sex on him after an NBA Finals game between Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. He has also previously faced criminal charges in the US for alleged assault and criminal mischief. See, this is why I have that one article that lists all of the fuckery he's been up to, because again, that is relevant. I do think it speaks to a pattern of behavior as an outsider, not psychologist, psychiatrist, just random little person on the internet. I think it does speak to a very particular pattern of behavior. Regardless, you can look into that and see what you think. So, in terms of the woman, Hand, who's accusing Conor McGregor, so there was an article that was linked and it said, woman accusing Conor McGregor of rape was found very bruised after alleged attack, paramedic tells court. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because McGregor was saying that it's like all a web of lies and all of that, right? So what I think is some of the most significant evidence is this bruising. So a woman accusing renowned cage fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a civil lawsuit in Ireland was found very bruised immediately after the alleged attack. A paramedic who treated her has told the High Court in Dublin. Nikita Hand claims McGregor assaulted and raped her inside a Dublin hotel. We know this. However, a quote from the paramedic that's important says, I haven't seen someone so bruised with that intensity of bruising, paramedic Scully told the Irish court, according to CBS News. Scully said Hand had a cut on her chin and bruising around her lower neck, as well as her chest, legs, buttocks, and thighs. The jury was shown video of Hand as she was treated by Scully that showed some of her injuries, the BBC said. The Irish High Court began hearing testimony in the civil case last week. So Irish state broadcaster RTE reported that Hand had previously pursued criminal charges against McGregor in 2020, but that the director of public prosecutions had declined to take up the case, determining there was no reasonable prospect of convicting McGregor. Appearing in the witness box last week, Hand said she'd been at a Christmas party at a Dublin hotel in 2018, during which she drank alcohol and took cocaine with McGregor, according to RTE. Hand told the court that McGregor forced her down onto a bed in the penthouse suite of the hotel and that she could not breathe at the time. She bit him, she said, and he then allegedly wrapped his arm around her neck and choked her 3 times. Hand told the court that she thought she was going to die and never see her daughter again. Like I said, the reason I was bringing up this article was due to the bruising and what the paramedics said. That alone is alarming. And also, if they were having vigorous sex, as he called it, let's pretend it was consensual, it would still be more than vigorous if someone's ending up that bruised. I would qualify that as violent, okay? Now, if it's consensual and you're doing your thing, that's whatever. In this particular case, ending up that bruised, especially on your neck, I don't even know how we can really try to deny that. There is a very high possibility that what she's saying is in fact true, because how are you gonna bruise someone on their neck and at no point have them have difficulty breathing? I just don't know how that works out. But regardless, so remember how before in the other article it was saying how she's not a saint or whatever? I brought up this article also because it says that she drank alcohol and she did cocaine. Okay, now, all of that, again, to me is, I'm not going to say it's irrelevant because it is part of what happened. But at the same time, I really don't know what the purpose of bringing that up is, unless we're going to talk about how cocaine and alcohol affect your memory, in which case, sure, that's relevant. Other than that, trying to paint her as someone who is, you know, like off the rails or a party girl or whatever, does not impact what occurred, because what we're talking about are his actions. So did she put herself in a position of danger? All of these questions, you can ask those. Those are questions that are pertinent, but they do not undermine the fact that what allegedly happened. Even if she was high, out of her fucking mind on coke, or just drunk as fuck, still, guess what? No consent, that's still gonna be rape. So it really doesn't change what happened, because really what happened, what we're talking about, are his actions and not hers. Hand said she then let McGregor do quote unquote whatever he needed to so that she could survive, at which point he raped her. So again, we go back to what I was saying before. Once someone scares you to the point of thinking that you are going to die, you are probably going to do whatever the fuck they want to not die, right? So when there was the report of her looking happy on camera when she left his hotel room or whatever, this is exactly why, in my opinion. Anyway, allegedly. BBC News said McGregor's lawyers accused Hand of attempting extortion with the civil case. Remy Farrell, the defense counsel for McGregor, said Hand had told her then boyfriend in the days after the alleged attack that McGregor had threatened to kill her. Farrell said Hand had admitted this detail in her police interviews and pressed her on whether the claim was true. Is that something that happened or didn't? Farrell asked her in court. According to the BBC, Hand told the court she could not recall if she had said that to her boyfriend at the time. In all of this, I have no idea, obviously, what happened. I wasn't there. I'm gonna say, based on McGregor's track record of being violent and even other accusations of sexual misconduct, do I tend to believe him? No. Aside from that, there's always going to be the potential argument that I'm sure a lot of people made that she's just doing this for money or that it's extortion, which, sure, is something you can consider. At the same time, the first time she tried to pursue criminal charges, she was told no and she still went for it. Now again, some people could say that's just for the money and that's your opinion, that's fine. In my opinion, to go through all of this for money is a possibility, but with everything else that's lining up, I tend to think there has to be some truth to what she's saying. I don't know how much, I don't know how little, but I tend to believe that something here is amiss in terms of McGregor and also his reaction and his behavior towards all this. That's just my opinion. We'll see how this continues, if there is a continuation. It's crazy because even in the comments, I saw even in the comments some fans of McGregor's believed that he would do this, again, based on his track record, which is why I wanted to link the history, like the timeline of everything he's been up to, because even people who like him are like, actually, you know, this doesn't seem that unbelievable, which in and of itself is quite tragic a thing. Imagine fans of yours hearing that you assaulted a woman and being like, yeah, that adds up. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.